Morning.
So we got our Creating CMAs class. We use the power of Paragon to pull your comps. And then, of course, you've got a small report in Paragon. And Chris is going to show you how to bring all those into Cloud CMA. He's going to show you all the cool stuff that he does on his. Of course, you guys know that making CMAs or creating CMAs, it's very subjective. So we still have people, well, where's the easy button that says, where's the one that's going to find the right number? I'm like, no such thing. Absolutely no such thing. So I'm going to be in the background today because this is a class, I can teach the mechanics of it, but Chris has been out there in the field for a few years.
Yeah, a few years.
Doing this. So he's the one that he's stumbled across every rock, every block, every weird person, every weird house. So
pretty much.
So we leave teaching of classes like this to the professionals. My realtor, Chris Nixon.
Oh,
right, I'm
going
to turn off my camera. I'm going to be in the background though. So my allergy, he's my voice. What's that, Chris?
No, I was going to say thank you, but you're not going to have to look at me the whole time. I'm going to get my screen up here. We'll be talking off my screen. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. As Debbie said, I've been a realtor for a number of years. I've been teaching this class for a couple of years. I really like teaching this class. There's a lot to do with Cloud CMA, with CMAs and how to do CMAs. And I think that this is one of those classes that, doing a CMA, there's a lot of different ways to do CMAs. We all have our different ways of doing them. Certain brokers prefer them to be certain ways. Certain agents who have been doing it, have their own way of doing it. And that's fine. There's no one right or wrong way to do a CMA. The stuff I'm going to give you here is just the way I've kind of done it over the years, and I found it to work best based on the CMA presentations that I've had to sit through over the years. You can make a CMA as part of your marketing presentation. You can do all kinds of things with it. The one thing I really do want to drive home, the one point that is so important with the CMA, I really feel, is too often I see realtors just kind of do a half-assed attempt at doing a quick CMA, and they want to get all their marketing material out there and everything else. Most homeowners can get a majority of the same information you're going to present to them through AI and all kinds of different websites where they can get a quickly generated CMA. The problem with something like that is it's not been reviewed, it's not looked at, it's not compared to other homes, it's not taking into account the fit and finish of certain homes and locations and everything else like that. That's where you as a realtor can demonstrate your professionalism and help set you aside from everybody else that's going to be pitching them on a home in a situation, or just even trying to gain their trust to become the trusted real estate advisor, is when you can talk to them with logic and intelligence regarding what's going on in their current market area. And that's where the importance of a CMA really, really comes in. So if you take the time to do it and do a good one and not just throw it together and just go by some square footage numbers and give it to them, you can give them beyond what they can already get just by going to RPR, Zillow, or any other kind of sites where they can already get that information about what their home is worth. So I put a lot of time and effort into doing CMAs. I consider it very important. Oftentimes, it's my first real introduction to show somebody my capabilities and to earn their trust so I can become their trusted real estate advisor, so that when they are ready to buy or sell, or they know somebody, they're going to feel very comfortable recommending me as an agent. So with that, CMAs, there we go, we're logged in. You do them from Paragon, and again, everything I'm going to show you here, I might go a little quick. Debbie records all these and then edits them down. I'll show you where you can find those off our YouTube page at the end. So if there's something I kind of go over that's a little quick, you can come back and take a look at it and figure out what I said and went through. So with that, a CMA usually starts because somebody gets in touch with you and says they're thinking of listing my home. What's my home worth? So you're like, hey, I can prepare a CMA which is similar to an appraisal, but because I'm not a licensed appraiser, I can't call it an appraisal, but we use a lot of the same criteria that banks use when they're appraising homes. So yeah, absolutely, I'd love to sit down with you. I set the appointment, and then I get to work in preparing the CMA. The first thing I do, and I want to just kind of put a little disclaimer in there. Some of the things you're going to see today, I'm showing you, I actually, I made it a broader search in certain criterias, and I'll touch on that simply because I want to get enough data points to show you certain things in the CMA. If this was doing an actual CMA, I would probably narrow it down a little more so that my information would be more accurate towards them. Just understand some of the search parameters I'm using just so I can gather a lot of data points to show you guys what a CMA would look like in a better market when there's a lot more homes available. Anyways, with that, the first thing I always do when I get a call that someone says they're interested in listing their home, can I come out with them? And I do this, tell them I'd love to present them with the CMA. As I go, and I always do a BS&A tax search. If you're not familiar where to find how to get to BS&A, you come up to the tax tab right here, select that. We open it up and it's BS&A online. Now, some of you may have encountered BS&A that you have to pay to get to it. Just to let you know, if you have a listing open up, an MLS listing open up, and you click on it through the tax through there, and it takes you to the municipality, usually through My Real Source, you don't have to pay, but in this case, sometimes you may have to. So we start by opening up BS&A in Paragon. If you're not familiar with how to use BS&A, the municipal directory comes up. We're going to be doing our search in Sterling Heights. We have the city of Sterling Heights in Macomb County. We open that up. You can either search by address or name. I'm going to go by the address because that's what they gave me, which is 26 English. This is the address they gave me, so I'm going to run the search on that. Just a quick verification here. BS&A makes you go through, and it pops up. The reason I am going to BS&A, because this is where a majority of the information you're going to find regarding the property, so that you can start your initial search from here. You can get the square footage. Here's your property. It popped up. And then you just select that, and it'll open up, and you'll get all this information on the property. A majority of the municipalities put their information in BS&A, so it's a pretty good website to go to find out the property information. Right off the bat, it tells me there are two different owners here. One of the reasons I go to BS&A is I want to see who the property owner is. In this case, that tells me there are two names on title. If I'm going to submit any kind of CMA or do any kind of listing, both those people are going to have to sign off on it. So that tells me right away, I'm going to make sure I'm going to do a follow-up call that both these people are going to be there, because my intent of doing a CMA, if they're really they're looking to sell right away, I'm going there with the intent to try to win the listing. All right, I want to close that deal right there, get my listing agreement signed after I present them with the CMA or at some point during that. So it won't do me any good if one of the two people are only there and the second one isn't there. So right now it tells me there are two people on the title. It'll also show you if it's one person in a trust or a trust only, then that's going to prompt a follow-up phone call from me saying, well, I see that the property's in a trust. If you can have handy when I talk to you at the CMA, the trust documents that shows who's authorized to sign what, because I also don't want to sit down and waste my time talking to somebody that called me on a property and they're not even on title, or they're not on trust, or they're not somebody that I can demonstrate my abilities to as a realtor to get them to sign a listing agreement with me. So with that, I see who the property owners are. There are two people in this case. Tells me the year it was built was 1973. The square footage, some other information about that. Tells me it's in Warren Consolidated Schools. So if I am doing a search, I want to make sure typically you stay within the same school district if you're on properties that are near a border. There's a lot of that in St. Clair Shores and East Point. Some of East Point is actually in St. Clair Shores schools. Some of Troy If you're south of 16 Big Beaver on Troy, you're actually in Warren Consolidated Schools, not Troy Public Schools, and they do not offer school of choice there, even though you're in the city of Troy. So that's just a good place to find where the school district is. If you do enter your own listings, and we do the My Real Source data sheet, you can find a lot of the information on this BSNA page. You can see the acreage and some of the other information here. If you just scroll through, you can see when it was purchased and things like that, square footage. Just other information is on here. You can click through these different tabs to see like if there's any outstanding permits that haven't been closed or anything like that. Tax information. You can see if they haven't paid their taxes or if they're behind on their taxes. In this case, you can see they're already paid up on everything. What I usually do is I print out the first page and I save it. Sometimes I add it into my CMA report. Sometimes I don't. I'll show you how to do that. But this is where I get the basic information in which to start my search. So now that I have this information, I'm going to do a search to find the similar properties so we can do a CMA. I always start my search by you select search. It is a residential property, so we select residential. Mine kind of already defaults to some of the things I have preset, so don't worry if yours doesn't quite look like this when it comes out. I am going to search right now actives. I want to also get sold and pendings. I like to have active, sold, and pendings, whereas a appraisal typically uses only the closed properties. When I sit down with my potential clients, I tell them that the active and pending show them what their competition currently is, and the close shows them what the market is doing. Because as we know, we can it doesn't matter what you list a price for until it closes. That's when we'll determine what the price is. So for me personally, I like to include actives and pendings if they're available to show them what their competition is if they're currently going to list it. And then certainly the solds will give them a better idea of what the market is actually doing at this point in time. So I select all of those. Again, you don't have to, but you can only do closed if you want to. Because we have pending and closed in there, not just active, we have to select a date range. And I'm only going to go back 30 days. I'm going 30 days back. Sometimes I go 60 or 90 or whatever is required to get me enough data points. I already created this property earlier today so that we could go through the class quicker. So I'm just selecting 30 days because I know it's going to work. I'm not going to worry right now about searching by the map area. I always go back and search my map area after I get in all my criteria. So the structure style, I know it's a two-story home. I live in Sterling Heights. I'm really familiar with the Sterling Heights, Shelby Township, Clinton Township areas. So I also know in some of these subdivisions, they have some one-story homes. So in this case, I'm only going to select 2 stories. I want to get rid of all the ranches and everything else like that. I only want to see the 2 stories. The above grade square feet, they say, you know, there's different schools of thought. You can go 10% over the 10% above and below the actual square footage of the house, or 20%. In this case, I'm going 1,800 to 2,300. Our home was just over 2,100. The reason I'm selecting these 2 square footages is, again, I know it'll work for what I'm trying to show you in the class today. The year built, in this area, I know there are a whole bunch of new homes that were built in like 2020 and beyond. There's some new subdivisions in there. I don't want to include those numbers because I don't want to kind of skew an older home, a much older home that was built in 73, older style colonial, looking like an older style colonial, with homes that were built you know, much newer that look a lot different and everything else like that. So I'm choosing to put a maximum year on there, and I'm going to go with 2000. Again, I selected 2000 because I know that year will work. I've already ran this search. I'm not going to worry about bedrooms or anything else at this point. I'm just going to leave it with this search criteria to kind of see what comes up. The more criteria you put in, the narrower your search becomes, and then sometimes it gets very hard to find comparable homes. Right now, I just want to get a number of homes to kind of see where I'm at, and then after that, I may come back and change my search criteria. At this point, I have my basic information in. we have 3,200 homes. That's way too many. But now I'm going to do a search by the map. So you just come to this bar where it says search by map. All you have to do is enter that. It already takes you to the map search up here. You can type in the address right here, 36026 English. And you do have to put in the city, because if you don't, for some reason, this will put you in the middle of a lake somewhere. It tells me where the property is. Well, it read it wrong, but anyways, the property is over here more. I know that. I must have typed something in wrong because it put me in Sterling Heights. And I would normally, see if I can get that in a little better. 36026, 36026 English. Heights, Michigan. There you go. Where to go? It's not showing up for some reason. Okay, the property's not coming up. Oh, it's right here. Here's the property. So there's a couple of ways you can do this, where this number 2 flag is. You can either do a radius search, but I don't want to do a mile radius search here because I know DeQuinder Road is the dividing line between Macomb and Oakland County. So I'm going to draw my own search. I like that a little better. In this case, I'm going to draw a little bigger search area than I normally would, simply because I'm trying to get the data points to show you guys what a CMA looks like. I'm going to select the polygon tool. I'm going to go from 17 to DeQuinder to Mound, down to 15 and over, and then right up in that whole area. It should pull me up a number of homes, which it did. I think there are 7 altogether. Now that I have what I want, enough homes, I could run the search and it'll pull up those homes. If at some point, if too many homes came up here and I wanted to come back and modify my criteria, all I have to do at any time during the search is select the criteria tab, and it'll take me right back to this tab. And because I already have the map search going on, as you can see here, I have the polygon set up. We can either hit run search here or select search here, and it will bring up those actual properties. This tells me I have 7 properties selected. So let's see what those 7 properties look like. And this will open up. And here are 7 selected properties. We have, looks like 3 that are active because they're green, 3 that are pending, and 1 that is closed. For this case, for this class, I kind of like what we're having there. One other thing I want to touch on, if for some reason you had to get out of this and then come back, let's say I had to get out of Paragon. This is a little trick that took me a while to figure out. I'll go ahead and log off. I haven't saved this search. Hopefully this will work. We'll come right back into Paragon. For whatever reason, it timed out. You took a phone call. You had to run away and do something with one of your kids or the dog or something. Oh crap, you lost the search. It's really simple. You don't have to recreate everything. You didn't save it. You select search again, and then you select residential. And then see up here in this light blue bar, it says last search. Here are all my last searches. So right here was the last one I was working on. I just select that, and it should bring up everything just like what we have it. And it looks to be everything in there. We should see the same 7 homes. That's just a little tip. There were times when I had whatever, got out of Paragon for whatever reason, thought I lost my search, would have to recreate it and get all frustrated. Just wanted to show you that real quickly. So now that we have the 7 homes, what I would do at this point is I would take the time to go through each one of these, make sure the style similar in look of the home I'm looking at. Also look at the photographs so I can start understanding. In this case, this is a vacant house. I can see what the fit and finish of the interior homes, even though I haven't seen the home I'm looking at, or I don't know what the inside of that home looks at that I'm going to go present the CMA. I just want to have a general understanding of the comparable homes that I'm going to be talking to them. I kind of group my homes into what I call the good, better, and best quality, so that when I am having that discussion about price, which is what a CMA helps to determine, I can go into it with a mindset that, okay, if their home isn't fully updated, it's not going to be, it'll be in the good category, it won't be in the best category, and so that way I give them a range of pricing and why it's in a range based on the properties that are out there. So I take the time to familiarize myself with the different homes that are in the search so I can see what they look like. This home looks very similar to their home, actually. So I'll be curious to see what this one looks like inside. So I'll go through this again, another vacant home. Looks like it might need a little bit of updating, hasn't been painted in a while. Doesn't seem like same color throughout, things like that. So older floor tile, older kitchen. So I'm just going to familiarize myself what the properties look like and what the market looks like, so I know. So I would take the time to go through any of these homes. If for some reason I saw a home that didn't work, maybe it had a swimming pool, and I really didn't want to keep the swimming pool, the one with the swimming pool in there, because it'll just kind of, I don't know, it becomes a harder discussion for me with somebody. So if I have enough other properties, I won't show them the one with the swimming pool, and it doesn't need to be, because all we're trying to get to with the CMA is get to a range to determine what their pricing of their home should be. So I take the time and look at all the homes. I select the homes I want when I'm looking at them, and those are the homes I'm going to pull into the CMA. So in this case, I've gone through all 7 of these homes. I like these homes. I can see they're all within Warren Consolidated School District right here. I could have put that in for search criteria as well. Let's see if we can go back and we can do school district. Just put in Warren, because this is on the border of Warren and Utica Community Schools. So it's not going to affect our search, but had we had a property that was in Utica Community Schools, it would have taken it out. So, and we can see that they're all in the same school district. So these are the 7 properties I like. The quick way to select them all is you take this box here and select that, turns them all green. They all have a check box. You have to select properties to begin doing your CMA process. So now we've done the search, we've done the BS&A, we've done the search. There are 2 kind of different CMAs that are available out to you. The first one is a quick view through Paragon, and the other one is a Cloud CMA, which is more a presentation through Cloud CMA, both through Paragon, but one is like a Paragon search, and the other one you go to a third-party site called Cloud CMA. The benefits of the quick view one through Paragon is it's pretty simple. There's not a lot of comparison in all the data there. There's no photos. I use this for a couple of reasons. Once you select the properties, you select reports on the far right side. Down here where it says CMA, you have a drop-down tab. You select CMA. You have quick view, summary, and spreadsheet. The quick view is just that. It shows you a quick view of the homes and some of the photos. Stuff like that, a little bit of information here that reads across. The spreadsheet is basically a reproduction of the main spreadsheet that we normally see when our properties come up. And the one I use the most is CMA Summary. The CMA Summary, what I like about it is it breaks it up into the 3 headings: active, sold, and pendings. And if you don't have any of the one category, there just won't be anything there. These columns up here are all fully customizable. So based on your client, you can show them the information that you want to. I was running into an issue where a buyer, despite let me back up. I also use this when I'm working with buyers who are trying to look for homes in the area. I'll show them this quick sheet where they can kind of see what's going on in the market, so they know to help better determine how they're going to set their pricing expectations. I use this with my investors when they just want to see properties in an area, what's going on. I'll run a quick search for them and then give them this. Again, they can use this to kind of see what the pricing is going to be. If there's more than one property, it'll give you the average, the minimum, the maximum, and the median for the year built, the days on market, square feet, asking price, sold price. It'll give you these categories. Right here we only have 1 sold, so it's not going to give you an average because there's only 1. but it gives you these little summaries over here so you can quickly see kind of like the average asking price of properties currently on the market is $391,000, and where's my square foot? And it's 1,976 square feet. So it's a very quick report that I use with both my sellers and with my buyers. And when I was talking about this information all being fully customizable up here, I was running into a case where a buyer, despite having the MLS printouts from me, they were still insisting that the bedrooms were too small or too big, weren't the right size and everything else like that in some of the homes. So what I did was I took each one of these columns and I put in only the bedroom size. I got rid of the sold price and everything else, bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, bedroom 4, and I showed them several homes already. And in this case, the homes I selected, I did a search with just the homes that I'd already showed them, and this all came up, and it showed all the different bedroom sizes. And the next home we went to, he realized that they were all very similar, and we wrote an offer on the next home after that. So to customize any of these columns, you select this tab up here that says Customize. Make my screen just a little bigger here. You can see it. Customize right here, and we go to Fields. On the right on this right side of this little box over here are all the information that's already in my table, and here's everything you can add here on the left. The only thing I don't like is you have to do each one of these tables separately. You have active, sold, and pending. So we'll come up here to customize. We'll do the fields first. We'll take over the active ones, and we're doing inactive. And let's say I don't want the sold price per square foot in there, obviously, because it doesn't show up. It's active. And so we're going to remove those. We highlight them and hit remove, and it removes them. But we want to add bedroom sizes. So you come to the left side, start typing in bedroom, and you have bedroom one width and length. You can add that in there. So we go bedroom 1 width, bedroom 1 length, length and width for 2, and we can go length and width for 3, and length and width for 4. And we select add. You can, and it will add them all over here onto my graph. If I wanted to move them up ahead of price per square foot or anything, or I wanted to make garages, number of garages at the end, just simply move my finger looking glove there, select it and drag it down, and you can move these in whatever order you want. When you select save, only 18 fields are allowed. All right, so I got to get rid of a couple things. I'm going to get rid of number of bedrooms, the year built. We'll see how we're doing here. Let's see what else can I take out. See what that does. Remove. All right, we're good. We're to our 18 columns. So as you see now here, bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3 for the homes. On these homes, you can see now it was easy to get a comparison like something like that. If you wanted to add acreage in, because I don't have acreage on any of these, and maybe you're doing something out in a rural area where they've asked for 5 acres or more, and you got some properties that are 5 acres, 6 acres, 7 acres. Same process. We're going to add it down here on the sold one. You select customize fields. Now you have to change this to sold, the status to sold. Well, acreage is the first button right here. You select acreage. You can either double click it to automatically add it. Why is it not doing it? Oop, that was addendum. I didn't want addendum. Remove. I already added actor. Oh, that's why. Sorry, I'm talking to myself here. When there's something over here on the right side, on the left side, where'd it go? Acreage right here. Once you select it, if you double click here, it'll add it automatically, or you can select the add tab. So I'll double click it. It already moved it over here. I want acreage up a little higher right after year built. So I'm going to leave it right there. After year built, select save. Now you'll see the acreage will appear right here in my chart under sold. If I wanted to add it to the pending, same process, customize field. And we're going to add change the status to pending because that's the chart we want to change. Select acreage, double click it, and it pulls acreage over. And I want to move it up right beyond year built because I'm a little OCD. I like all my columns to line up. And as you can see, year built in acreage is all posts right there. So the reason I like this report here, this CMA summary report, is because I can customize the fields and it's a quick report and I can give it to clients and I use it for both my investors that are looking at homes, and I don't need to do a full CMA report for them. And I also use this report when I'm working with buyers so they can kind of see how the market's going. I've used it to kind of rein in those buyers that are making really, really low offers and aren't getting any, seem to always be rejected. And I'm trying to explain to them that the market isn't, the low ball offer and you negotiate up isn't even going to get them looked at. And so when you generate a report like this, they can see what's currently on the market, what's pending in the market, and if there's a number of solds, what they're all selling for at that price point, which will help them to understand, hey, look, these homes are selling in this area for this much money. You need to change your expectations of where you want to be pricing wise if you want to get in a home. So this report, the CMA summary, it's a very quick report and it has a lot of uses for it other than just working with a potential buyer. So that's the first report. It's the CMA summary. It's the one I use quite a bit. And it's directly through Paragon by doing your search, selecting your items, and then you don't have to do any more steps other than just come over here to where, once you're in this sheet, the main page, where is it? Criteria, yep, and we'll run our search. Once you're in this main page over here, we have the seven properties selected. At this point, all you have to do is come over to reports, select CMA summary, and it generates the report for you. Every time you save it, those columns all stay in here. I'm going to have to come back later on and clean up all these columns just so I don't want them in there. So that's the CMA summary report. The other way to do it, we'll go back to our main homepage, it's right here, is through Cloud CMA. Cloud CMA is, when you do that, that's going to be more of a presentation type report. There's a lot more information that you can add in there. I sometimes add in some marketing materials that I want to do in there. There's other things that I'm going to show you that you can add in there to present to your client, your potential client, again, with the intent to win a listing and also to start demonstrating to them your abilities as a realtor so that you can become their trusted real estate advisor. So the process is the same. We do this as we did for the CMA summary. We do a search, we get the information. Now we come up to in the middle here where it says actions. It looks like a plug, this tab right here, and we select actions, and we are going to Cloud CMA. So this is, we're going to leave Paragon and go into Cloud CMA. So it automatically takes you there. And one of the nice things about Cloud CMA, why it's loading up, there's a lot of customization that you can do here to make it kind of put your own stamp on it. The really nice thing is it automatically pulls in all those listings that we had right there. All the MLS numbers appear right here. So you have the exact listings. You could also do a quick and dirty CMA just by entering the subject property address, then coming down here. My issue with that, I've never done that. I know how to do it for class purposes. The reason I don't like doing it is because this is computer generated and it just looks at 10 similar properties and pulls the information. It doesn't really look at for maybe where the area it's in, certain fit and finishes, the years it was built, all that other stuff. So there's too many variables in here that I just don't like. I want to be able to have a much better understanding of the information that's going into my CMA, so I always do the exact listings. You name the report, and whatever you put on the name up here for the name of the report is what's going to appear on the cover and the cover page and the heading of all the pages. So in this case, I'm going to use both their names. Forgive me while I type here, and this is how it's going to appear. So make sure if you are using their names, that you get it all spelled correctly. No one likes to see their name in print wrong. And this is also how the report is going to be saved. If you had any kind of client notes, you could put them in here if you wanted to. Those notes only appear when you pull up this page. They do not appear on the report at any point. So you can list notes in there or reminders for yourself right here. That's what this section is for. You put in the property address. As you start typing in the address, it should give me a default. There it is, English Drive, Sterling Heights. If you select that, it'll automatically load some of this information for you. The number of bedrooms is 4. I got that off the sheet, so I want to put that in. I do want to enter the square foot at 2128, and there's a reason why. I'll show you that later on. It is a residential property subtype, single family. For right now, I'm not going to add a photo, but I'll show you why adding a photo makes a difference in the report. There's a couple ways you can get a photo. You can either take one that's already out there, either off of Zillow or BSNA or something like that. Just save the photo and then add it in here as a JPEG. Or if I have the time, I want to go through and check the neighborhood. It's only a couple miles from the house where I live now. I'll be driving by that way on my normal errands or whatever I'm doing. I might take an afternoon drive by the house, get a feel for the neighborhood, other homes in the area, kind of see what it looks like, and maybe to snap a quick photo out front if it kind of looks good. So there are different ways to get a photo, and I'll show you why you want to include some sort of photo and not just leave it empty. I also take the advanced info and I add in whatever I can down here. Garage is a 2-car garage. The area, subdivision and style, this is a ranch. Area, I forgot what the area is right now. We're going to leave that blank for right now. And we'll come back to this later on, but I try to add in as much of this information that I can, and I get the information off of my BSNA sheet. Will show me what this information is, and you can fill that in. So now that I have my MLS numbers, I have the report title, the address, we're going to select Fetch the Listings. This green tab here, also same green tab at the bottom of your page, select Fetch Listings. Cloud CMA then takes that information that we entered as the exact listings and starts generating your report. You have your subject property right here in purple, and you can see all the other properties around you, color-coded on the right over here for active, backup offers, pending, and sold. And here the properties are right here that are listed down here. They have actives last, closed first. I like mine in the other order. Let's see if they'll, nope. Will they let me change that? No, so status. I want it listed by status, and I want them starting with the actives first. So right now it's going closed to active. I want it active to close, and it put them all in order like that. I also like to make sure that I have the kind of in a sequential order. So right now we have 2 pendings. This one's the highest pending one. This is the middle. So I want to arrange those at the $315,000 one, and then 374. Same thing with my actives. I have an active at 384 and an active at 364. So I want my 364 one first. And of course, there's only one closed, so I don't have to worry about it. If you wanted to put a price in here and to do a net sheet, you could enter a price in here. I do not put in any kind of pricing with my CMA. Quite frankly, I've been burned a couple of times when I walked in with a pricing. The homeowner already had in their mind what they felt the home was worth. I had it in print what I thought the home was worth before I got there. We were vastly in disagreement as to the pricing. Not disagreement, they felt their home was worth a lot more. I probably could have gotten the listing at the time and taken it at that price and do the whole realtor stick of, if we don't get any offers in so many weeks, we're going to lower the price and have that whole conversation, or just run with the listing at that price and see how it comes out, especially a year and a half ago when the market was absolutely crazy. But I already had my number in here. I did my due diligence. I had a great CMA. Everything about it. And because I had it in print, I went home and I said, well, let me look at some numbers. Yeah, that price sounds like a really good price that you would like to get for your home. Let me go back and look at some things. Yeah, let's do it. And that night they went with another realtor. So I don't put in a price here. I try to talk them into a range and I let them select the final number. That way, if I walk into a property and they already have in mind what their house is worth, I'll either have that conversation to try to get them more in line of what reality is, or again, I'm trying to get the listing. So, I'm going to try to get the listing and go from there. And if they're hard and fast on that number, then that's what I'm going to go with. So I don't put in any kind of price, nor do I give them any kind of real price. Also, I haven't seen the home. I don't know if they're in the good, better, best category of finishes. Maybe it's an older home that had very little updates in it, older appliances, still got a Formica countertop and the old builder's cabinets. And I walk in thinking it's going to be in the middle price range, and it's really not. Basement isn't finished, any of that other stuff. Now I've actually shot myself in the foot as well. So I don't put any kind of price in it. I use the CMA to get a conversation to where we need to be price wise. However, if you want to do all that, you can set a price right here. The other thing that you can do is you can do notes and adjustments for any of these properties. So if I went through and let's say this one had a finished basement, this one didn't, this one had a better upgraded kitchen, you can make all those adjustments in there. My personal feeling is I don't do the adjustments, mostly because this is not an appraisal, so I don't need them to do the adjustments. Most people kind of they want to see what homes are selling for and what their home is worth relative to what the market is doing, and that's what all my conversations are around. And the other reason is I'm not a builder. I don't know the estimated cost of one kitchen versus another, a fully finished basement or a basement that just has a little bit of carpeting and some ceiling up. I don't know what that's going to do to the market, so I don't do adjustments. However, if you're one of those clients that is very confident making adjustments, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's quite simple. You select where it says notes and adjustment for the property. Once it opens up, you can add in different notes if you want to. And then you come down to this area where it says adjustment name. So let's say basement finishes. Type it in and you put in a dollar value. If you put a negative in front of the number, it'll decrease the property by that much. If you put in just a number, it'll add that much to the property. So let's say for this reason, we want to deduct $8,000 from it. So you put in minus 8,000 and you select save. So now you can see the property value went down by $8,000, which will reflect up here when we close this, which will reflect up here in when we look at this property. It's been adjusted. It tells you it's been adjusted to $359,900, which it'll use that when it processes all the information later on. If you don't want it in there, after you put it in, just select the garbage can and it'll just take it out, revert it back to zero. You can add multiple adjustments in here by selecting adjustment, putting in a price. It'll default to another adjustment name line. You just put that in and you can add it. It is not something that I do. I'm just showing you guys how you can go in there and make the adjustments if you feel comfortable doing it. So I got the properties at face value for how I like them. I have them in the order that I want. So there are two ways to get to the actual report part. One other thing, if let's say you wanted to add a listing, all you have to do, come down here is go to add listing, select this area, and then you can bring in another MLS listing. It'll add it to your report. You either select the green customized report on the bottom, up top, or right here. Anywhere that says customize, just select this and it'll begin to customize your report. So here we go. We're going to wait for it to generate. And here's where Cloud CMA sets itself apart from the summary that we looked at earlier. This is where you really get to customize your report. It starts out with on the left side, you have all this in the gray down area. Anything below premium you have to pay for as an upgrade to Cloud CMA. I've never had the need to use it. There's enough information up here under the standard that you can make a really nice CMA report. If for some reason you want to explore what these items are, just click on them, open them up and see what they are. And then if you want to pay the premium through Cloud CMA, you can add it on. It's up to you if you want to or not. But right now we're going to focus on the standard items, and there's enough information up here in the standard items that can generate a really nice report. On the right in this white area is everything that's going to appear in your report. This is my let me go to my default. Where's my default? Oh my God, I got a lot in here that I've been saving. Right now, it's using an older CMA that I already have in there, and it's only generating a few pages. Normally, we're going to get rid of that. Built in. Here you go. All pages. This is how you normally would come up. It comes up with all this stuff in here. There's a lot of pages in here. A lot of these are predefined. They already have information on them. You really don't add to them. They're like filler pages. What's nice about them is whether you're an experienced agent who's been doing this a while, or you're a new agent and you're looking for talking points. If you're an experienced agent and you just want to kind of, I don't know, change up your talking points, get some more information in there, or come up with just a little different way of saying things, or a newer agent, you can select any one of these, and it'll give you like selling your home in a tough market. Here's a page. It's pre-formatted. Gives you the address up there of the CMA, and here's some stuff that you can have to talk about. You can either use these as talking points yourself and or include these pages in the actual CMA if you would like to. All you have to do is select one of these areas, one of these pages, and it'll bring you up a preview of what it looks like. Here's a good one on CMA versus appraisals if you wanted to include that. Most of them are a single page, which is really good, and it just gives you some good information if you want to, you know, take your talking points, your presentation to a different level, especially if you're a newer agent and you're looking for what you should be saying at some of these Cloud CMA presentations. You do not have to use all these sheets. This would turn out to be a 40 plus page report, and I'll get to that, but that is just way too many pages. Before I show you how to delete these pages, it's pretty simple. We're going to start up here with what these headings are. The first one is the theme. Right now, I have selected Modern, Vivid, Blue, and Gray. If you come to the drop-down arrow on the far right, you have all these different color selections you can go to. Some of you may have a broker one up here that are preloaded, depending if your broker has that through My Real Source. And then down here, we have the classic colors. There's a little bit of a difference between modern and classic as to how the final report kind of looks. Just go through and play with some of these. Click on one of the themes and you know, see what it does to your report. You don't have to redo everything when you want to change a theme. For instance, right now, what's a really atrocious one? We're going to go with modern, blue, and green. I don't like this color. I just want to show you what it looks like. Now that it's selected, we select choose theme. It's going to apply the theme to my whole report. That's going to be the color. We have a layout. We have photo with map, 2 photos, photo with max data, 2, 3, and 4 column comparison. Because all of these are in a pretty much the same area, I really don't need to include a photo with a map, especially since I searched in a really close area. You know, basically, I'm going to tell them it's right near their home. 2 photos. I'm going to select this one right now just so you can see what it's like, but I'll tell you why I rarely use 2 photos, but I want you to, it's better to explain visually. The template, we're going to leave that go for now. Cover, I'm not selecting a cover, but here are all premium covers that you can get if you want. This again, you pay for, and you can get some really nice looking covers. The cover that is generated by itself in CMA is pretty good, so there's no need. I've never found the need to buy a premium cover. And the nice thing is we have different fonts you can use. This changes anywhere that there's any kind of font pre-formatted or otherwise. In your CMA, you just pick different ones and see if you like them. I'm just going to select cabin. I don't even know what that looks like. And we'll go from there. Here are all the, now once you have all that selected, you have all the different pages that can be used here. You have your title page, cover letter, agent resume, all this stuff. These are all pages that can be edited directly if you want to. You can get rid of them. If you want to get rid of any page, just select the red circle on the side and it'll delete that page. Our company, what's in a CMA? I'm not sure what this page looks like. So if you click on the eye or where it turns green, you select that and it'll show you what it looks like as a CMA. Just so you can see what it looks like to change the font, here's this page in the cabin font. And if we go back and we'll just grab another font down here, we'll go to Railway. It automatically changed it. I don't have to do anything else. And I select what's in a CMA. You see how this page, oh, they look the same. Let's go to Laura, see what Laura looks like. What's in a CMA? You can see the font is more of this curly kind of stuff, looks a little different. So whatever font you like, you feel is best, you can just change it that quickly by looking at some of these pages. The single pages come with you all branded in the bottom. I have my picture uploaded, so it's going to be there. And again, the address is always going to be on top of everything else at the top of the page. So that's how you can kind of see how the pages are. The other reason I don't include the photo with the map up here under layout is because we're going to get a map of all the listings. I'm going to include that in my CMA, and since it's in their general area, you know, they can kind of see where it's at. The numbers are color coordinated. Actives, as you can see, are green, and so on and so forth. So here's number 7. 7 is up over here. It's near 17 Mile Road. It's right by number 4, which is the accepting backup offer. Since the map of the comparable listings is here, it's not a wide area. There are sometimes when I get in a little more rural area up in the Metamora, Lapeer area, people are looking for acreage. This map gets so big, that's when I may want to include the map by their house with it. So when I'm looking at the theme. So right now I got the map of the comparable listings. Oh, the subject property is always in purple, so that's right there, so you can kind of point out where their home is. Summary of comparable properties. Just start clicking on these and you can see what everything is. I know right now on a lot of these I'm just going to get rid of them because I don't want them in here. If you wanted to include something in there on staging your own home, you want to see what this is like. This can be something you talk to them about staging your home and why it's good or why it's bad. If you're somebody that maybe you partner with somebody that does home staging, you want to use that as a service, and you want a little better way to present that to your clients, you could include this page, hit the talking points in it, and explain to them in depth a little more about what you do for staging your home. First impressions are lasting. All this other stuff in here you can include or not include. Intelligent pricing and timing is a pretty good page if you want to go over why we need to price it, when we need to price it, and things like that. These are all pages that you can click on and kind of read some other time. Right now, I don't want to include any of these in my report because I just don't need to. We'll leave it go with this right now. I'm getting suggested lists because I don't put it in there. We're going to leave it with these few pages right now. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm going to get to it in a minute. Why I'm leaving in what I want to. I'm going to add in one of these features that sell. If there's something that you clicked on that you decided that you didn't want to, that you do want to include, under each one of these headings there are drop-down arrows. You can see these different pages that come up. All you have to do, for instance, if we decide we want to include intelligent pricing and timing, just select the green plus arrow. It'll automatically drop it down here under its chapter, which is in the closing section, and you have it in there. Like anything else in Cloud CMA, if you want to change the pages, it's really simple. Just move your cursor to where it's here in the middle of the bar, and then move the bar up and down as needed, and it can move those pages around. Under introduction, we have those pages I all took out. They're right there. And then under listings, we have more photos. Right now it defaults with details, photos, and adjustments. We're going to put in more photos, all the rest, so you can kind of see what this all looks like, what the report looks like. So now you have all this stuff in there, and I'm really familiar with how to do the Cloud CMA. I would never start off a report like this. It's just way too many pages, but I'm showing you what a typical report would look like, and if you're a little unfamiliar, why it's going to look a certain way and things you may want to do to clean it up. So now we have everything we want. We think we like the way this is going to look, so we want to see what the report would look like that we're going to give to our potential client. Anywhere there's one of these green tabs that say publish report at the top or at the bottom or right here to the left in this string of commands you can do right here, all you have to do is hit publish report and it'll begin publishing the report for you. So this is going to spin around for a second. Here it is. It's named after those it's the report is named for the people I put in there or whatever title. This case I like to use the people's name. This is a bigger report, so it's publishing the report. It's going to take a while to spin around and get that going, so you just have to bear with me. And you know, I'll explain these different items down below as soon as we get our report all worked out. Oh boy, this is a big report. It's taken a while to pull in all the information. So hopefully you guys are following along with this. And I hope my computer isn't timing out on me right now. That would be bad. And this will load in a little bit. We're counting down. I've never had to talk this long while it's loaded, so bear with me. Which one am I on? Yeah, this should load up. It's taking a while. There we go. Once it's loaded up, it switches to View PDF. And when you go into View PDF, this is what the actual report will look like that you're going to send to your client. So this is going to load up. Again, this is going to take a while. I can already tell you this report is way too big. And I'll show you some of the things that I have found that when I'm sitting across the table from a client, again, my sole purpose in doing a CMA is hopefully to get their listing agreement. So when I go to present the Cloud CMA or when I go to present a CMA to somebody, I always print out a listing package with me. Or if your office already has them prepackaged, I take it with me. Yes, I would love to send it to them electronically and have everything done for them, but I'll take a listing package, I'll prepare it with at least my listing agreement, so that when I'm sitting there with them, and if they all of a sudden say, you know what, we really like this, let's get the paperwork signed, I don't want to then say, hey, great, let me go home and I'll email it to you in a couple hours or whatever, because by the time I get home and do all that stuff, they can change their mind. Not that it's a bad thing. I mean, you know, you don't want to force anybody to sign anything, but when they're ready and able, pull out that listing agreement and have it signed for you. Maybe I'll have to throw away a few, 10 pages of a listing agreement and some other documents, and it's a little more work for me to have to scan all that in than doing electronic signatures. But my purpose in giving somebody a CMA is to win a listing agreement. So I'm going to that home fully prepared, and I'll even put a for sale sign because I put in my own signs in the trunk of my car. So if they sign the paperwork, I can, if need be, put that sign in the ground right away if they're that hot to put it in. So I go fully prepared to win a listing agreement. All right, so right now we have 59 pages, way too many pages. But so I can walk you through everything. Here's the cover page. It pops up. This is when we said we don't need a photo in the very beginning when we set it up. Here's what it looks like with no photo. Here's the subject property right here, this kind of purple star. It's very hard to see. The day of the report is the day it was published. So if I do this a day or two ahead of time, the date would be wrong. So I always try to do publish my reports the morning of the presentation. You have the pages and the orders that I have in there, just like I had them on the other page. Here are the summary of comparable properties, all this other stuff. It gives you this cool page that says listings. And then it gives you the property. Remember, we went with 2 photos, and this is why I don't like the 2 photos, because you can't go in and change the orders of the photo. And almost all realtors put the primary photo and then another exterior shot with the house. The problem you end up to is this very situation right here, 2 photos that look the same. Then it starts giving you all the photos of the home. and it walks you through everything. You can see it all. There's one, two, there's several pages of all the home photos, which is really good. And it does that for each property. Again, two properties right next to each other, two photos right next to each other, kind of a waste in my mind. And then it walks you through all the photos of the home and everything else like that. This is a very long report. I'm not going to scroll through 59 pages for you. I want to point out two things, what two photos look like and all the additional photos for each property. Remember, we have seven properties in here. And if each property has 3 pages of additional photos, that's 21 pages of photos that are in here. And we also have these tabs that say listings. I don't like these in my CMA report because I don't make tab pages. So you're not going to be able to easily find this listing area in a CMA report. So to me, it becomes a waste. All right, so I showed you everything I don't like about it. And remember this cover page right here. This is important. I want you guys to see this, how the cover page looks. So now that's all the negatives about it. So what do we do to change it? We go back up here into where it says view PDF, view PDF. We don't want to do anything right now. We come back up here into customize because we're going to go in and change everything. So we're going to go back to listing. So we're going to start there. Actually, we'll go back one more criteria. Sorry, on the first page, we're going to add a cover photo. Now, I've already taken a photo and saved it so that you don't have to. I took the one off of I did a Zillow search for this property as well. So I used that photo. I didn't realize the BS&A photo was actually a cleaner photo, but I already have this one loaded up, so I'm going to show you how to do it. You just go to add a cover photo, find wherever you happen to have it stored. I already have my file set up and saved, and then you just hit open. We're going to leave it as it is and hit, we're not going to crop it. We're just going to hit crop, and that'll put it in right there. So that already has the photo loaded in there. Now we don't need to go to listings. We're going to leave all the listings the same. We're just going to come right over here to customize. This is where we're going to change our report up. We talked about 2 photos. I don't want to go to photo with max data because what happens with photo with max data, it just gives you more information over here about the house. I don't like that. Matter of fact, I don't like all these photos in there to begin with. The reason I don't like showing all these photos, or I don't want to show 21 pages of photos to my prospective client, because I found, again, this is my own experience, maybe you want to include all the photos, that's up to you. I don't include the photos because what ends up happening is it becomes a photo journal session where my prospective client is looking at their home going, oh, why would they paint it that color? Oh, hey, we have that kind of couch. Oh, look at this. And they start looking at the home, and we're losing track of the reason I'm sitting there in front of them is to try to determine a price to list their home or a range to list their home, and not going over what every neighbor has or what they did or what they didn't do. Because what it turns into a discussion regarding aesthetics, that person's feeling of how the home worked, how that home looks, that the fit and finishes that they have in there. Why would they will go with that? Oh, that granite's an ugly color. And you have all the, oh, I really like those curtains. Yeah, I can buy them here. I don't want to sit there and have that conversation with them. This isn't, architectural digest that I'm trying to do with them. So I really don't want any photos at all because I want to keep them talking about price. So the way that I get around doing that without showing all the photos, and it'll also shorten up my report so that I can talk to them more about pricing and their home relative to what's going on in the market, you can go to 2-column, 3-column, or 4-column comparison. And I'm just going to select 3-column right now to show you what's nice about 3-column. I'm going to take out these, remember those chapters that I told you about that I didn't like, the analyst chapters? I'm getting rid of those chapter pages. We don't want them. I like my contact me page always at the bottom. I don't want features to sell, average price per time to sell. We don't want that in there. There's one other property one other page I like to keep in here. It's under analyst. It's called online value analysis. The reason I like to include this page, and I'll show you what it looks like, may not be that good when there's only one property, is First off, the source is Zillow, comes to you from Zillow. Okay, so this is information Zillow has, and it shows what the Z estimate is and what the current price is. The reason I like including this page is because more often than not, I find that these people have already gone to a third-party website and kind of determined the price of their home. The worst is their neighbor or friend or somebody else telling them what they feel the home is worth, and it's usually never correct. What this actually shows is that Zillow estimates are off about 4% or $12,000 on average in this market neighborhood. So if they're already looking at a home that's going to be like the Z estimate is 327 and they're at 315. I already have this in here. I've also already gone and looked at Zillow. I've saved that sheet of Zillow. I'm going to include it in the report so I can talk to it. So if they already hit me up and say, hey, here's what I feel my home is worth, I can say, okay, but you do know in this area, Zillow's running a little high. I just want to prepare you for what it may not be that accurate. Instead of just saying, oh, Zillow's no good, their numbers are really high. So I always include online value analysis, and I save the screenshot of their Zillow page. And I'll add that in my report. So this is kind of what, I don't want intelligent pricing there. This is kind of what I'll have in my report, these few pages. Now, you've heard me talk about adding other pages to my report. The way to add other pages, I always add my pages before I do my, I want to save this template, 14 pages, class. I'm just going to call it class. Save that. So this is how you add those custom pages. Now, when I do my CMA, I know all the custom pages I want to add, so I add those beforehand, and then I can just pull them into my report. Custom pages are all on this heading right here. Unfortunately, it keeps a cumulative of all the custom pages you add, so you have to go through and find the ones you want to add into your report. So to add a new page in, you come to your far right where this little face is, or where your face is. Select that. Second one down is custom pages. You have two ways of adding a custom page. You have, while it's loading, you have a Word type document and PDF pages. PDF pages I'll show you first. I've already added in there, here's the Zillow printout for their property. Here's the BSNA. Remember I told you I added that if I wanted to. I also go to Fast Stats and pull up that information for Sterling Heights. I'll show you how to add that right now. What you would do is you would come down there to the bottom where it says Upload PDF, and we'll select that. And then you find where you already have it saved. In this case, I created a file where I save all the stuff I want to add in as custom pages. And I have the market stats for Sterling Heights for June. I want to show them kind of how the properties are doing in the area. I like to include this page in there. If you don't know how to get that, it's through market stats. I teach a great class on that. Side note for you guys on how to use InfoSparks. Also through InfoSparks, I created this page. I'll show you what that looks like. I have the median sales price and the homes for sale in the area over the last 3 years. I like this price because what I want to show them is as the market went down, prices went up. As the number of homes for sale went up, as you can see, prices came down, the more homes that were on the market. So right now it looks like we're trending into a slight uptick of more homes going on the market. So hopefully, this number should start, if it follows everything else, the median sales price should start ticking up a little bit. I just downloaded these and created this simple page. So that's something I already preloaded. And to add in a page, it's really easy. Just select Upload PDF, find the file, and hit select, and it brings it in here. It saves all the other ones that you've loaded throughout for all your other reports. The other thing you have is where you can create custom pages here. This is where you can create documents that you write up. For everyone that I do a CMA for, I always create this page called Your CMA Search Criteria Explained. I'll show you what that looks like. I put their name and I tell them where I ran the search for. So when I leave them, they kind of know what I looked at to search for. If I needed to add a little bit more information down here in this paragraph, I can. If I need to add more of my search criteria, and I can. The big reason I include this page and I use it as a talking point when I give them my CMA is because I want to discuss with them this right here, that this analysis is based on a market activity at the time my CMA was prepared, and market conditions can change. Hey, if I give you this CMA today and you call me in September and tell me you're ready to put the house on the market, I've been staying in touch with you all that time, and finally in September you say, Chris, we're ready, we may have to revisit the CMA because numbers could change and I may have to reset your expectations. And I want to stress to them that this is not an appraisal, it's a CMA. So I always include this at the bottom of this little market explanation as to what I searched for. So that's what that page is. I'm going to include that in my CMA report. So to include that, we come back up here to where it says CMA. We find the CMA that we're working on, which was this one right here. We want to edit it. You don't have to go through update listings and all that. We're just going to customize, select customize. We come here, all my pages were just like I left them, in the order I left them, but I want to add these custom pages. I want to add the market stats for June, my Zillow posting, and the average price for homes in Sterling Heights in that order. I like my contact me page always is the last page. The online value analysis talks about Zillow, so I want to move my Zillow page right behind that, or right in front of that, so I can show them what Zillow is showing their properties worth. And here's kind of how my report is going to look. Average price per square foot, you can see what that looks like. If we select that page to view on, make sure I want to keep it in. And it's a pretty good little page. I like the way this looks. I want to leave it in as a possible talking point. So now I have everything the way I want. I'm just going to show you the difference between 3-column and 4-column comparison. We're going to publish the report. It should load up much quicker right now. Now, one thing I do when I go to distribute this report is I usually set my appointments for somewhere around 10, 11 in the morning. I get this report printed in the morning. Then I go to any one of the office supply stores near me and I have it printed out on a heavier weight paper, two-sided in color. Most copy machines in our offices or at home, the paper is very thin, so when you print it out in color, it doesn't look really good. It bleeds through. I also have it spiral bound with a dark cover on the back and a clear cover on the front. I am trying to show them that quality in everything I do. It's going to run me $12 to $15 to do a report. But if I'm going to talk to somebody about getting a listing where it could be a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $600,000 home on up, I want to give them a best report possible when I walk in there. So that's something I do. I take it in on a hard drive and just have them print it out for me. Got to allow for about an hour sometimes to do it. There's one place I email it to them and I can usually pick it up. That's just one of the little things I do to help make my report a little better when I go to present it. I also get a copy made in black and white, not bound and everything, just so I have one that I can talk to them to and make notes to along the way. As you saw, it loaded up a lot quicker. So we'll select View PDF. Two things in this report. Oh, it didn't take my cover photo. We'll fix that on the way out. But right down here, when we get, I gotta take out listings, comparable properties. As you can see now with the 3-column comparison, it gives you just 3 homes in a row. All the information reads right across. You can see that the columns all match up. You can kind of see, all right, 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 3 bedrooms, all this other stuff. I would make sure I know where the 5th bedroom is. In this case, it's one in the basement. Just different things read all the way across. So we're going to go back to our CMA. I want to go back to criteria. I want to get that photo to load. It did not load. English photo, open. You have to select up. Oh, under add advanced listing, the area is Sterling Heights. And I'll show you why I want to put that in. Sterling Heights. And we're going to hit update listing. My photo should load now. Sterling Heights should be in there. I'll show you why you want that in there in a second. Customize, and on the 3-column pages, it just showed, you know, home 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 was on the last page. The report I use the most is 4-column comparison. I'm going to show you why. Get rid of listing chapter. Don't want that in there. This should be everything I want right now. I'm going to show you why I use the 4-column comparison. We're going to publish the report, and this will load up kind of quick compared to our first one. Remember, our first report was over 59 pages with all the tabs in there and everything else. So this one should load. There you go. View PDF, same process as before. Now, remember, I loaded in that photo. Look how much nicer this looks. So if you can get a better photo, a cleaner photo, we don't have that kind of overhead shot that I never like with the vegetation shown in and that purple star that's hard to see. Everything else is the same as we go through. Here's that the map of the comparables. Here's the comparable property. This is why I use the 4-column. This is the only reason why I use it. First off, all those photos are gone. I don't need to see all those photos. But on every page that has a comparable property, the first column is always the home that I'm talking to, that I'm going on, the subject property. I put in the area as Sterling Heights because if I didn't, this would be blank and these would all say Sterling Heights. So I want this information to closely align to what all this information is as you read across. We had 7 properties, as you recall, so we'll go to the next page. First column is comparable, the subject property. Here's all my other properties. And then here's the last page with the subject property and all the other properties. This is why, sorry, I hit the wrong button. This is why I use the 4-column comparison. My photos are gone, so I don't have to sit there and have a interior design conversation with the homes. I can just start talking about pricing and everything else on the homes. I kind of have this comparable property statistics here. Here's the Zillow sheet that I printed out. They're saying the Zillow estimate is $358,000 with a range of this to this. And then I talk about my online value analysis. So if I walk in and they say they think the home is worth $358,000, I can say, well, you know, Zillow might be a little high here. Sold property analysis. This is saying because we only had the one home, it was, you know, here's what it was listed for. Here's what it sold for. That's kind of a big jump. I would look into why a little more. Average price per square foot. And here are my custom pages that I added. All stuff I can let them know how the market's doing through June of the, you know, in Sterling Heights up to date and everything else. And of course, my last page is my contact me page. At that point, that's what I would use to publish the report. This is the report I would take to my client. Sorry, I want to check one other thing here real quick. We went from 59 pages down to 16. The other reason why I don't like to take a lot of pages is because, quite honestly, what I found is most clients, they don't care about all that stuff. They want to know what you're going to tell them the house is worth. So I'm going to take enough data to support what I'm going to feel my ranges are in good, better, or best. I'm going to kind of assess the house when I walk in, what it's like. And then I'm going to ask them what they feel it's worth and kind of have that discussion from there and see where we need to be. 16 pages is a nice little report to send to somebody. So now that you have that information, kind of saw all that, there are a couple things you can do with that report. You can, of course, email the report to them. You can copy it as a PDF link, which is what I do in order to take it to my the office supply store to turn around and print it out for me. You can also do what they call copy as a lot. You can view it, copy as a live link if you want to email them the link to go to, so that you can do it live. Live was kind of born out of when we were no longer able to go and do face-to-face stuff, that little couple-year period there. Live kind of came about of it, which was a really interactive way where you can send this to your client and you can walk it to them live. I don't use live that much. I really haven't. So I would suggest before you send it to somebody live, you create one, send it to somebody that you know and walk them through it yourself. In order to do it, you click this link here that says View Live. And then it'll load this up for you. You have all these different things that you can walk through. all the different pages down here, and you can walk them through it. It's some neat interactive stuff. There's some little bit of editing you can do on it, but it also has a lot of pages that I don't like in there. You have to create a live link. Again, it's not, you have to create a live template. It's not something I do a whole lot of. I like to get in front of the clients. I like to see the home and everything else like that. I'm just showing you that it's out there. So if you want to experiment with it, go ahead and do that. The other things you can do with this is if you go back to the CMAs, where all your CMAs are. In this title block here, you have these three little dots on the top. You have the same thing, copy PDF, copy live sleep. You also have a view a slideshow. Slideshow isn't that bad if you want to bring them in maybe. I'm not a fan of that. I like to go to their home and talk to them personally. I'll just show you how this works. If you bring them in your office, you can connect to your, like if your office has a conference room with a big screen TV, you can set them up with a view the slideshow. Your control is down here in the lower right. It just takes you through everything, that similar pages that you have. When the homes do come up, you have the ability, it's hard to see, to select the down arrow, and then you can go through all the pages. Selecting the right arrow takes you to the next home. The middle always brings you back to where you started from. So this is another kind of interactive way you can do it in your office if you want to, if you have a TV available. I've only had to use it one time. I didn't care for it. I really try to get in front of my clients. I'm just showing you that it's available, and it's through the three dots up here. You can also do an email report where if you select that, it'll just email the report to where you want. When you pull it up, they're going to see that PDF we pulled up earlier. So that's kind of the three there. You know, CMA also has you can do other things for buyer tour, property flyers, things like that. Up here in CMA, it's a little off on how to do them, a CMA. There are other things in there that Cloud CMA offers to you. Real quickly, if you wanted to show how to do a flyer, if you wanted to do a flyer, this is for somebody I created an open house flyer for. If your office doesn't do these for you, you can do these really cool flyers like this. They have some templates. You just go in there and enter the information, and they make these really nice templates like this. This is the flyer that I passed down at the open house. So Cloud CMA does offer you other things. You can do, under flyer, you would just come up here under create a flyer and go through the process right here with the fetch the listing and all that other stuff. The big reason I use Cloud CMA is to do just that, is to create CMAs for my clients and a presentation format that I'm going to take the time to make it look a little above and beyond to try to win that listing. So I'm about done here, about 5, maybe 6 more minutes of your time. If you can just hang in there, we'll kind of recap everything, and I'll show you a few more things, then we'll be done. So to recap, it always starts with a search. I always start with going, to BS&A under tax, get the BS&A information to make sure I know who's on title, so I'm talking to the correct people. I also get the property information for which to establish my search criteria. I do my search, the properties come up, I whittle them down to I get enough properties that I feel comfortable with. I would ordinarily like to get a few more closed in there and not so many pendings. Actives and closed is what I shoot for. In this case, I was just trying to, showing you how to work it in the class. From there, you select the properties you want, and you can do the summary by coming up here to reports, CMA summary, and it'll pull up that report. Or you come up to actions, and you start to go to Cloud CMA, and you go through that whole process that I showed you going through there. And that's kind of the two ways to go for Cloud CMA versus the CMA summary. Both are good. The big advantage through Cloud CMA with the 4-column comparison is it compares their subject property. It compares your potential property to all the other subject properties, which makes it really nice when you're trying to look at, when you're trying to talk to them about how does their home fit in with everything else. It's the only report that compares back their property or the subject property to everything else you're talking about. The summary page the CMA summary does not give the subject property. It only gives you what's in the market. So that's where I use the two reports too. I've had a lot of success by preparing a good CMA. It takes me right around an hour and a half to 2 hours from the time I get the call to prepare a CMA. I already know kind of the format I want to put it in, what pages I'm already going to save as custom pages, and everything else like that. It doesn't take very long, and it creates a very, very nice report. I do find that going to the office supply store and printing it up and getting it two-sided color and bound just makes it look that much better when I walk in to present to the client. That's kind of the class. That is the class right there. Again, well, Debbie will do a great job of editing this down. There are other classes on this. Take a look at them. This is my way of doing it. It's not a hard and fast rule. I just place a lot of importance on why I do a CMA and what I do behind it, and how important it is when I'm trying to win that listing. How you choose to do your CMA that works best for you is up to you, but we have some really cool tools that are available to you through My Real Source. The last couple things I'm going to touch on here have nothing to do with CMAs right now. It's more about this page. I've mentioned to you several times our YouTube page. To get to that, up here in this light blue heading, you go to YouTube, and it'll pull up all the stuff that we have saved up there on our YouTube page. If you want to search for anything, I gotta turn off Colleen. You have to come over here to where the little magnifying glass is and search up here. Don't search up here because this will take you to a general YouTube search. You don't want that. If you're familiar with our page and you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and like us. It just helps us, you know, the way we get positioned in YouTube and everything else. Debbie has these arranged in different little areas up here. If you go to playlists, you can see down here, there's all different YouTubes that she already has set up. Yeah. So if you come in here, where are some of them? Creating CMAs, there's 51 videos in there. There's all different videos. You can go in there and watch different parts on how to do CMAs. And the other one I really want to point out to you guys, and I don't see it right now, so I'll do a quick search for Cuba Casa. Where's it at? Come on. C-U-B-A. Hopefully that's how you spell Cuba Casa. Nope. Do that search. Nope. We have a new program right now called Cuba Casa. And stop Colleen again. Right here, Cuba Casa floor plans. This is nothing to do with CMAs, but if you're not familiar with what this is that's available for you as a realtor, this could be a real big game changer. I've already used it a couple of times. I did it on my own house. It was incredible what it did for my own house. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but basically you walk through your home. You don't have to clear out furniture and everything else. But it walks you through, you walk through the home and it generates a whole floor plan of the house. It's really, really cool. I've used it in several instances already. You can buy the add-on to put in furniture and things like that. But we offer that through My Real Source. There's no cost for the basic program of Cuba Casa. Take a moment and look at that video on how to use all that. You'll find that on our YouTube page, for our My Real Source YouTube page. You get to it by going here. Where it says YouTube. Up here in the upper left, upper right, in this darker blue screen where it says MLS Documents, here's where you'll find all those handouts Debbie gives to us on all your classes. If you goes to MERS Education, all those handouts are right here. We just did CMA. You can do a quick search by hitting CMA and enter, and it'll bring out all the PDFs and everything that we've had created on CMA, so you can go back and look at them. If you're doing a little training session at one of your offices, you know that you might be able to find some of the handouts here that'll work. Those are all off the home page. So we have the MLS Documents and the YouTube page. Here's where some quick links for technical support or class schedule or anything else like that. If you want to get that information there. So that's kind of it for Cloud CMA. I really appreciate you guys dialing in today and listening to me talk for an hour and a half. I can't wait till I can do this class live. It goes much better when I can get a little more interaction. If you have any questions and you haven't done so already, type them in there. Debbie will get back to you, or just send her an email after this class is over and she'll be happy to answer it. And unless anybody has any questions, Debbie, if you have anything for me to add, we're gonna end this up. And again, thank you all for being on here. We really appreciate it, and good luck to you as we're hitting into the end of the summer selling season and going into the fall. Debbie, anything?
We're good to go. Thanks, Chris.
All right, so I'm going to end this webinar. Again, thank you everybody for being here, and have a great day.